So the motto of the Girl Scouts is, always be prepared. So we want to prepare you here on the Dawn Show. Dawn Sens-Lamenti here with you, especially as we head into the winter time. You want to be ready. And what do you need in your vehicle during those winter months? Lori Johnson is the expert. Ladies Start Your Engines is her company. So what do we need in our vehicles?
Well, I have a couple things here on the table. Some things are too big to bring, but you see I have a pair of sneakers, especially for women. If you're wearing a pump or something like that to work, if your car breaks down, you have to change a tire, you can throw on a pair of sneakers, you can do the tire change, or if you needed to walk somewhere, you've got a comfortable shoe. If you had to walk a mile in some of the shoes that you wear to work, it might not be comfortable. So keep an old pair of sneakers in there. A blanket of some kind. It may be something that you put on the ground to kneel on while you're changing a tire, or maybe you need it for warmth. It's cold and the car won't start, you can't run your heat, at least you have something to keep warm. Flashlight, oh, this is my favorite. This flashlight is an LED, but it also has a great feature that you can set it up, and now I'm hands-free. When I'm changing a tire or something, I can direct it to where I need to be. I can remember many times doing this, and you're trying to change a tire and it doesn't really work. So
now, where did you get this flashlight?
I just got it from a hardware store. It's a Stanley. It's a great little light, and being LED, it's really bright.
Now, I love my Stanley one like this, but the legs are actually bendable.
Oh, bendable.
And so you could actually hang something. It looks like an octopus. It's bright yellow.
Yeah.
But these flashlights, and you'll find that you use them at home and whatever, just make sure you put it back in your vehicle.
Right, exactly, yeah. First aid kit of some kind, I always have something in there, you never know when you need a Band-Aid or aspirin or something, so it's always a good.
This is nice and small, mine's a little bigger, but the one thing I would say is sometimes I didn't check, mine was in there all summer and it was hot.
Oh, yeah.
So it gets, like if you have bacitracin in there, it gets kind of goopy.
Yeah, you might want to go through it once a year or so.
Kind of check it,
Yeah,
like,
see
ooh.
Yeah. I have a board here, and I always like to make people guess, like, what would you carry that board for? And so what did you say you used yours for?
I guess because I carry a piece of plywood so that if my minivan gets stuck anywhere, that I would shove it under a tire for traction.
Right.
So in the wintertime, and I think it's happened to me once in Philadelphia, but I told you I went to college in Minnesota, so it's a throwback.
And that's not too bad, except you just have to think about where that board's going when the tire, right? My reason for having that in is that if you have to jack a tire up and you only have a soft shoulder, like you have dirt or something like that, this is great. I can put my jack on there, and instead of the jack sinking into the dirt, I've got a bigger base, and now I'm going to be able to lift my car. So it doesn't have to be very big. You can get those for free at the wood scraps and some of the different hardware stores. Just go back and find it. I didn't even pay for that.
Yeah, it might be in your garage, or in
mine. We talked about a little shovel.
Yeah.
They make those great little army shovels. You can fold those out. Those are great for maybe having to dig your way out if you got stuck. Also, kitty litter. That's something that you can put in there. At least it's something you can put down and get traction in snow, or if you were in a lot of mud, I guess you could use it to fill a hole to try to get yourself out. But
well, and also in cold climate areas especially, they'll tell you to throw a bag of something to weight down your vehicle.
Right.
So sometimes it's not bad to have your vehicle weighted down a little bit in the wintertime.
Yeah, if you have a big dogs and you carry dog food in the back or something. I know people who put bricks in there. It depends on what part of the country you live in, if you're constantly driving in that snow. But again, that's only if you have a rear-wheel drive car. If your car is front-wheel drive, that weight in the back is really not going to help you.
Yeah, and I always say, if you're driving, for example, on Lincoln Drive, you better know whether your car is rear wheel, all wheel, or front wheel. Because it depends if it's going to fishtail and that sort of thing. I want to talk about flares, and I carry the glow sticks that you kind of snap them, and every once in a while the kids will find them and they're fun anyway.
Right.
But do you recommend that people carry something in case they break down in
Yeah,
the
it's
dark?
good. I've seen like orange cones. I don't know where they get them, but just something to put out there to let people know that you're broken down on the side of the road. Anything that you can do to add, make yourself seen is going to be good, because you're hoping that people, again, very distracted today, drinking coffee, looking at GPS, looking at their phones. It only takes a minute for them to glance down and come off the side of the road. And if you're there working on your car, it's so easy to get hurt. So get far off the road and then try to put up some things that are going to make you be seen better.
Yeah, it's important. You know, a lot of people say have some chocolate in your vehicle, especially in the wintertime. Have water. Do you recommend carrying water in the vehicle?
I don't like to leave it in there. In the winter, it's going to get frozen, and in the summer, you know, they say it's bad for that plastic to get heated up. And
Remember Sheryl Crow publicized that.
Yeah, you put it in the water. I don't want to drink that plastic water. So I just make sure that every time I get in the vehicle, I take water with me. That's just a staple of mine. I get in, I have it. So I have a full bottle of water, and I don't need to carry that. Or I might grab a snack, a granola bar or something. If I know I'm doing a trip, I might throw some extra food in because I could have something happen along the way.
I mean, really what I hear you saying, Lori, is that you're teaching these classes and you're talking to people, and what you're saying is be in a state of awareness, which it really goes through life, not just your vehicle.
Right.
But that's what I hear you saying.
Right. Yeah. It's just, you know, nobody wants to have something happen, but just be aware that they can. Cars break down, you know, they're not 100%.
Even new cars.
Yeah, even new cars. And, you know, you can wait for a tow or wait for somebody, but, you know, we all have cell phones now. The payphone day is gone, but that doesn't mean you're going to have a signal where you are. So
Right, that's a
you
good
really
point.
need to be prepared. Let people know where you're going, too. And maybe the route you're going if you're taking a trip. So if something happens and you don't get to point B, they have an idea of where to look too.
Yeah,
So,
that's so important. A lot of people, even we've heard, you know, wash off the road, or
Right.
that's happened in Jersey and so on, in the Philadelphia region. So it's so important that people do know where you are and that you know what to do.
right.
You know, it's so important. We're going to be right back with Lori Johnson, much more here on The Dawn Show. You are watching The Dawn Show, and we're talking to Lori Johnson, who's really the guru of car safety and everything you need to know that saves you money and also keeps us all safe. I have to make a confession quickly, Lori, and that is that my engine light on my minivan has been going on and off for about a year. I took it to the dealership, spent about $1,000. They said, oh, it's Eco Lights. It keeps going on. They said, unless it flashes, you're fine. It's probably nothing. But so what's the drop dead light that you should pay attention?
Yeah, that's not a good answer,
know.
but the check engine light controls emission things. So if you let it go for too long, then eventually something's going to happen.
Okay.
So the flashing comes on when the car starts running really poorly, and you know that it's time to get it in. But I know there's a lot of people who drive when it's not
like,
flashing.
it's
It's not. I don't feel anything, so keep going. But eventually, it's going to create a problem. So it's best to have somebody figure out what's going on with it.
And the oil light, that's a big one. if
Yeah,
that
the
little
oil light.
symbol
And
goes
the
on.
battery light. If the battery light comes on, you're probably not going to be driving too much further before that battery is going to give out, or the alternator, and then you're going to be stranded on the side of the road. and
Unless
you're
you
not-
have one of these battery chargers that's in front
Well,
of
it
Lori, that I highly
depends.
recommend.
If the battery goes
If it's
dead.
kaput, you're
yeah,
kaput.
You can't drive too far with this.
So websites that you recommend? besides your own?
AskPatty.com.
Okay.
It's a great website for women to go and get all kinds of information and get advice. There's women who answer your questions. We've been in the automotive world for a long time, so you feel comfortable getting an answer. Even men write to our site. So
Aw, thanks for being here, Lori.
Thank
It's
you.
really great information, and I hope it's something that all of us can learn from. I hope you did. Have a good one.